Hello everybody, welcome back to the Barndominium channel, where today we are going to be talking about 10 cheap items that you may want to consider getting for your next DIY home build or big project. But first, if you're into DIY, home building, light homesteading, or the debt-free lifestyle, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell for notifications for our future videos, because we have a ton of cool stuff lined up that I think you guys are going to want to see. So, like I said, 10 items that I have found to be super useful that I think you guys are going to want to have on your build. Item number 1, pallets. Pallets are super useful, and you could do a ton of different stuff with them and build a ton of different things as well. For example, I built this workbench. I would highly recommend building one of these for yourself. If you are working off-site and you don't have all of the equipment that you would like, this is a great place to start. I also use them for storing materials and leveling things out. In general, they're super easy to get, super cheap, highly recommended. Okay, next up is something you may or may not have heard about. This right here is a shark tooth hammer. Now, the thing that makes it really unique here is this little tooth that pokes out right here. Now what that does is it gives you the ability to latch on to a piece of 2x material and have leverage to twist it. Now, if you're building, if you've built stuff before, you know wood is very rarely perfect. So having tools like this to twist it to your will instead of bending your plans to it is the way to go. Highly recommend that. Next up is a construction magnet. Now this is super handy for picking up nails and stuff off of your site. You can extend it out here. Really easy just to go sweep through the gravel and pick up all the nails and screws that might go through the sole of your shoes otherwise. So it's a good idea to go through your job site every now and then and take all of the screws up that are potentially hazards to you. Okay, next up are sledge hammers. Here is my opening argument and my closing statement. The reason why I got these ones in particular, one, they look cool, and two, they have these little holes here on the bottoms. Now what that is really helpful for is putting in something like a ratchet strap or a rope or something like that. That way when you're climbing up your scaffolding, you can just hold the rope instead of bringing this up with you, and then when you're at the top, you just hoist it up to yourself. That can make your project quite a bit safer. Next up, one that's probably a little bit more commonly owned, but necessary nonetheless. I would say that everyone should look into buying a giant pry bar. Removing nails is frustrating work, and cat's paws are not going to be enough to be taking out 10 common nails. So I would definitely recommend getting one that has a variety of different features for pulling out nails in different scenarios. Really helpful. Next one here, Visor. Most of the time, glasses are going to be a lot easier, but in cases where you are grinding metal or up on a ladder using a chainsaw or circular saws, this thing will protect you while you're wearing your sunglasses and also keep the dust out of your face. So mitigating against the sun and the dust has definitely helped me a ton, and I'm really glad that I bought this. Okay, next up is a giant water bottle. Nothing sucks more than running out of water on a hot day, and even worse than that, having warm water. So I highly recommend having a big water bottle, or at least a number of smaller ones, and then also a cooler that can put them in there, because it really sucks drinking hot water on a hot day. Would not recommend. All right, next up is a big stupid hat. If you look cool in your hat, you probably got the wrong one. Now the big deal with these is keeping the solar radiation off of your head and having nice ventilation up here. I think I'd recommend having something besides straw if you live in a windy area like I do. As you can see, when it's windy out, it starts to break down pretty quickly. Slytherin! Okay, next up we have GRK screws, heavy duty GRK screws. These things can handle like 800 pounds. You gotta make sure you check out the specs when you buy them, but having them, unlike most screws, these ones are actually structural, and I've used them a ton doing things like fastening my MLD trusses to the top of my posts here, and a bunch of other heavy-duty work that just would not have been done as easily with nails. So a pack of these ones, I think it's like 48, runs about 20 bucks. They're a little bit more expensive than the typical screw, but trust me, they are well worth it and will save you when you are in a pinch. Next up, a solution for many of your crappy problems. A mobile toilet and pop-up tent. Definitely, you can find these on Amazon. It has saved me a number of times. There's nothing worse than getting to your job site, unloading everything, only to find out that you have to pack everything back up and go back home. So definitely recommend these ones. And it's really great for camping and stuff as well. Next up, sweat rags. Whitney and I got a box of microfiber rags and at Costco for like 30 bucks or something like that. And these are really great for managing your heat. You can dip them in cold water, put them on your head, put them in your waist belt, underneath your hat. Keep the sweat and sunscreen out of your eyes. It's super helpful, and you can just throw them in the wash and reuse them after you're done. Okay, last up, by far the most useful, inexpensive item that I have come across so far has got to be ratchet straps. I use them for literally everything. Every phase of this build so far, I've used ratchet straps in multiple different ways. It's like 30 bucks for a pack of 4 of them, and you will never stop finding uses for them during your build and also afterwards. They're insanely useful for fastening things to the top of your car. And like I said before, this combos really well with your sledge hammers. You just hook them in there. Obviously you want the longer strap, not the ratcheting part, but you can hook these in there, hoist them up to you when you're on your scaffolding instead of having to carry them yourself. Super easy. I would say that this is probably the best purchase that I've made on our house to date, cheap or not. Can't recommend ratchet straps more than that. So that's all I got for you today. If you have any other things that you found useful or think that I missed out on something, please let us know down in the comments so that we can all learn and grow together. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this to be useful, please consider giving me a thumbs up as it helps us a ton. And if you're into home building, DIY, light homesteading, or the debt-free lifestyle, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell for notifications when we make videos in the future. I'll see you guys next time.